The NBA draft is often judged years later, long after the headlines fade and the hype settles. But every once in a while, a single night gives you a glimpse into the future and tells you everything you need to know. On a chaotic, exhausting, double overtime night in Brooklyn, the Boston Celtics sent a loud message to the rest of the league. They did not just win an ugly game, they validated an entire draft strategy and quietly reminded everyone why patience, development, and belief still matter in today's NBA. Back in late June of 2025, when the Celtics selected Hugo Gonzalez with the 28th pick and followed it up by drafting Amari Williams at 46, the reaction around the league was largely indifferent. Some fans were curious, others were skeptical, many barely noticed. These were not flashy names. They were not lottery picks. They were not players expected to contribute right away on a team with championship expectations. But nearly 7 months later, in one of the strangest and most emotionally draining games of the season, both rookies stepped onto the floor and played decisive roles in a win that had no business being as dramatic as it was. Friday night against the Brooklyn Nets was the definition of surviving rather than dominating. The Celtics looked flat early, sluggish in the first half, almost as if they expected the game to take care of itself. That did not happen. Brooklyn played with desperation, physicality, and just enough confidence to keep Boston uncomfortable. When the Celtics finally woke up, pushed the pace, and built a double-digit lead late in regulation, it felt like the game was over. Then it was not. Missed assignments, rushed decisions, and defensive lapses allowed the Nets to erase that lead in the final 2 minutes. Suddenly, a game Boston should have closed cleanly turned into overtime chaos. That chaos is where the story truly begins. Joe Mazzulla has preached effort, readiness, and trust all season long. He has emphasized that perfection is unrealistic, but competitiveness is non-negotiable. After the game, he summed it up simply by saying that while the Celtics do not always play perfectly, they always play hard, and that effort gives them a chance every night. Against Brooklyn, that philosophy was tested in real time, especially when the game demanded contributions from players who were not supposed to be central characters. Hugo Gonzalez embodies that mindset as well as anyone on the roster. At just 19 years old, he has already built a reputation as a player who affects the game without needing the ball. Rebounding, defensive activity, energy plays, and physical effort have been his calling card since the early days of the season. Whenever he is on the floor, something productive tends to happen. But on this night, his impact went far beyond the usual hustle. Late in the first overtime, the Celtics found themselves down 3 points with only seconds remaining. After a timeout, Brooklyn came out in a zone defense, clearly focused on preventing a clean look from the perimeter. In a twist no one expected, that defensive choice left Gonzalez completely alone in the near corner. Mazzulla had just subbed him in moments earlier. The rookie had not been a featured shooter all night. In fact, he had been benched earlier in the game after missing a defensive coverage, a moment that could have rattled a young player. Instead, with the season still long and the moment enormous, Gonzalez caught the ball, rose up, and calmly knocked down the game-tying three-pointer. No hesitation, no panic, just trust in his mechanics and belief that he belonged on the floor. The shot sent the game into a second overtime and instantly became one of the most memorable moments of the Celtics season. After the game, Gonzalez admitted that nerves were present, but only briefly. He explained that once he stepped on the court, his focus shifted entirely to making a play. He credited the confidence instilled by the coaching staff and his teammates, emphasizing how much easier the moment becomes when everyone around you believes you will succeed. That trust is not accidental. It is earned in practice, in film sessions, and in the countless unseen reps that define player development. What makes the moment even more remarkable is the context. Just over an hour earlier, Gonzalez had been pulled from the game for a mistake. In many rotations, that would have been the end of his night. Instead, Mazzulla went back to him when the game was on the line. That decision says as much about the coach as it does about the player. Trust goes both ways, and on this night, it paid off. Ironically, that clutch three-pointer was the final action Gonzalez saw on the court. He did not play a single second of the second overtime, yet his contribution had already changed the trajectory of the game. He finished with 10 points and 7 rebounds on a perfect shooting night, making every shot he took count. His stat line was efficient, but his impact was emotional and psychological. He shifted belief back to Boston when it was slipping away. While Gonzalez delivered the moment everyone will remember, Amari Williams provided the foundation that made it possible. Williams did not even enter the game until late. In fact, he arrived in Brooklyn just 2 hours before tip-off, flying in from Maine amid uncertainty about whether Neemias Queta would be able to play. That alone speaks to the unusual circumstances of the night. Williams spent nearly the entire game on the bench, watching, staying engaged and mentally preparing for a moment that might never come. With seconds remaining in the first overtime, Williams checked into the game for the first time. On the very next play, he caught a long pass from Sam Hauser and immediately spotted Peyton Pritchard sprinting ahead. Without hesitation, he delivered the ball perfectly, setting up a Pritchard three that cut the Nets' lead to 2. That quick decision, made under pressure, kept the Celtics alive and created the window for Gonzalez's heroics seconds later. That sequence alone justified Williams's readiness. But his night was far from over. By the time the second overtime began, both Queta and Luka Garza had fouled out. Suddenly, Williams was not just a situational piece. He was the only true center available. Thrown into extended minutes without warning, he responded with poise, physicality, and intelligence. Early in the period, he relocated across the paint during a drive, giving Pritchard a clean outlet once he picked up his dribble. Williams caught the pass and finished through contact for an and one, a play that energized the bench and stabilized Boston in a moment where the margin for error was razor thin. Defensively, he made his presence felt as well. With under a minute remaining, Williams delivered a thunderous block on Nolan Traore, sealing the possession and effectively ending Brooklyn's hopes. The reaction from his teammates told the story. The bench erupted, the starters celebrated, and the sense of shared accomplishment was undeniable. After the game, Mazzulla highlighted 2 things. First, he praised Williams for being able to sit for nearly the entire game and still execute flawlessly when called upon. Second, he emphasized the work done by the player development staff, noting that readiness is built daily, not in moments of crisis. The same praise applied to Gonzalez, whose mindset and preparation allowed him to thrive under immense pressure. This was not a showcase game against an elite opponent. Brooklyn is not a top contender, but context matters. Winning ugly on the road, in double overtime, while relying on rookies to close the game, reveals something deeper about a team's identity. It shows organizational alignment, from the front office to the coaching staff to the end of the bench. For the Celtics, this performance reinforced a growing belief that the 2025 draft may have been a masterstroke. Gonzalez has already proven he can be part of a winning rotation. His instincts, toughness, and confidence fit seamlessly into Boston's system. Williams, meanwhile, demonstrated that he can stay ready, process the game quickly, and contribute in high-leverage situations, even with minimal prior action. Brad Stevens has built a reputation for finding value where others overlook it. This game felt like another chapter in that story. While the rest of the league chased upside and star potential, Boston focused on fit, mentality, and development. On this night, that approach made the difference between a crushing loss and a resilient win. It is still early. One game does not define careers or draft classes. But moments like these linger. They build trust internally and force opponents to take notice. The Celtics did not just beat the Nets. They showcased the strength of their process and reminded the league that winning organizations are built long before the spotlight arrives. If you want to stay locked in on how this Celtics season continues to unfold, how young players keep stepping up, and how these moments shape the road ahead, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation in the comments.